Director Todd Jones telling people, you know, we're going to grind down on you. That's a quote he puts in there. We're going to grind down here. You don't talk outside the agency about us shipping guns to Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. You've already changed the subject, haven't you? You got the little theater event now. Oh, and then I'm about to get into the shooting news here, but I thought I would hit the economic news first. But just remember, Obama has said, and the Pentagon has said, it's okay to kill up to 200 plus innocent people if they want to kill one, quote, terrorist who isn't working for them in Libya or Syria that they publicly run. Yeah, I mean, how do you get that dichotomy or that paradox, that oxymoron out of the way? All over the world, in countries that are supposedly even our allies, these drones will blow up an apartment building, blow up a wedding, a funeral, kill hundreds. And we go, oh, that's collateral damage. You know, little kids, women blown apart. You don't see them on the news. You don't see flags at half-mast. But when it's a staged event and 12 are dead, Obama starts crying. Oh, I got killed. It's so horrible. But when they're crying those crocodile tears, remember, worldwide they're engaged in lawless murder and killing our own troops in secret experiments that have been declassified over the years. But let's hit some financial news first. How long have I told you? The Federal Reserve has promised no QE3, no quantitative easing that will accelerate inflation. But they've depressed things so much, it's okay for the bankers to do that just a little bit, in their view. Spain fears send U.S. Treasury yields to record low. Oh, I thought the more we give the foreign banks, it was going to fix Ireland and Greece and Spain. Oh, it's designed as a global taxation where they hold us hostage. Dow plunges 200 amid EU fears. Techs skid. Now, here's the big important article. Fed looks at third round of easing. Financial Times of London. Doesn't get any more globalist than that. And they say that the recent slowdown of the economy, the Federal Reserve may consider something for which it has always set the bar very high. A third round of quantitative easing, where they give themselves unlimited trillions, and then for them being given it, they then loan it back to government and others at interest, propping up their derivatives that cause this. That's a pretty good system. It's like you shoot your neighbor in the head and get a medal for it, and then you're the doctor that does the brain surgery on them. Wild. Fed looks, and the surgery's another bullet hole in the head. I forgot that part. Fed looks at third round of easing. So there's that report. Again, Spanish fears stock markets bailout increasingly seen as inevitable, and then another bailout, another. It's just too big to fail, and it's signed on to 1,000+ trillion that's impossible to pay back of the banker debt. But the public isn't sophisticated enough to know that, and the financial publications won't tell them. Well, they think we're so pathetic, they are starting to say we're slaves to foreign banks, and that it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool we got hijacked by foreign banks. Yeah. Yeah, the Federal Reserve's really private. Yeah, we're slaves. That's right, you're slaves, America. There's nothing you're going to do. SWAT team standing by. We're going to take you cops' pension funds, too, and you're going to thank us for it. Global banks elite confirmed to hold $32 trillion in offshore accounts. Anthony Gutiardi over at our site has reported on this, and he's got links to Al Jazeera, HSBC, Citigroup, Bank of America, all these guys. They take their money offshore, tax-free, and then nothing's done. That's just the way it is. But your taxes, they said the highest taxes are really on working class people. And that's where most of the audits are done, because you don't want them going after the actual big guys. Zero Hedge is reporting, of course, and we're going to have Dr. Roberts on tomorrow about this, about all the big major European and U.S. banks fixing interest rate prices. That scandal's been going for a while. That's from Zero Hedge. That doesn't seem to be a big deal. So there is the news on that front. Let's shift gears to the Ronald McDonald killer, who they're already saying did it and has admitted he's done it, but he's been flopping around in the jail cell, spitting at people. Now they roll him out, so drugged he can't even talk, and you can't act. I mean, he's drugged. You've seen the video of him. I mean, I hope they don't commit a mass shooting and come arrest me and drug me up and make my hair look like Ronald McDonald and go, look, he's crazy, and I'm just sitting there going, I mean, it's like, oh, he's the bad man. He did it. The witnesses are all, we saw two guys dressed like cops throwing, bombs in there and smoke, and they were shooting, and somebody let him in. No, it was somebody else, and never mind all that. And hey, just because you know why? The police chief of Colorado Town, rocked by Massacre, Dark Knight Rises screening, is a New Jersey native who spent 21 years with the NYPD. Chief Daniel Oates. And, you know, I was reading about him. The latest right-wing conspiracy theory is that the massacre took place in Aurora because of Chief Oates served as head of the NYPD's intelligence division. Oh, the folks that helped make sure the news of 9/11 didn't get out. And was part of Bloomberg's administration that wanted gun control. That means ban guns. They have banned guns in New York. And I watched him. It was very surreal with Dave Mustaine sitting there on my couch and his wife at my house this Friday. I watched the nighttime, not name dropping, it's just a funny little image there. And he's like, there are people saying things that aren't true, by the way, on the internet. Don't believe it. And he went on for like an hour to thank the police and say how great they were and all they'd gone through and like fake cry. I mean, this was sick. This was shit, folks. They do this stuff. I don't know if he's involved, probably not. But I'll tell you something, folks. They keep doing this in Colorado because that's where the real government's based. And I'm telling you, I've researched Columbine. That was a false flag. Go look into it. It'll blow your mind. Okay? But he says we shouldn't investigate, and neither does the Council on Foreign Relations. They've come out and said, don't worry about Hillary's small arms treaty. Yeah, I'm sure Forbes and others say it'll restrict guns and register them and all this, and we've done whole reports showing you where they say they're going to take your guns under it. They're going to implement it slowly, like, you know, salami slicing. But the CFR says go back to sleep, kind of like Obama said he wouldn't sign NDAA, but of course he did. They want to kill opposition to this because they don't want it to unify people. And that moves me next over to the rest of that news. Mexico's Felipe Calderon says ban our guns like they have in Mexico so we can have the highest crime rate in the world like they do, or Chicago or New York. Piers Corbyn, get out of my country, punk. Stop coming over here. Why don't you go hack some phones in England or something or engage in some other crimes? You know, you got bodyguards and people, coward. Don't come over here and say it's time for us to restrict our guns. He's out doing that. I mean, look at that twit. Bloomberg, you know, the guy that wants to control what you eat and do, total control freak, piece of trash. He's doing the same thing, suing gun makers all over the country, trying to ban the Second Amendment by fiat. And now we have Rupert Murdoch. If you think I'm joking, you can look this up. We now have Rupert Murdoch. It's up at INFOWARS.com, Huffington Post. He tweeted that it's time to do something about guns and restrict the Second Amendment. I'm looking for my printout here. I'll find it in just a moment. There's so many articles. Oh, here it is. There you go. Rupert Murdoch calls for tougher gun control, agreeing with Mayor Bloomberg. Well, yeah, now that they've got you on the phone hacking, they got you by the little cojones. Continuing here, Bill Kristol, good Trotskyite. You didn't know he was a Trotskyite? His dad was a top heir for Stalin and then Trotsky had to leave? Democrats being foolish, not pushing tougher gun laws, and goes on to say, you know, it's time to go after our guns. He goes on to say, I don't think they have a right to semi-automatic, which is most guns, that can shoot hundreds of bullets at a time. And I actually think Democrats are being foolish. So the Republicans are like, come on, go ahead and take the guns. We understand. We're good Trotskyites. The average conservative's like, good, take our guns. Very good. So there you have it. And Mitt Romney wants to ban semi-automatics as well back when he was governor. So we're in a lot of trouble. Most crimes aren't committed with semi-automatics. Last year, the ATF wanted to ban most shotguns, saying if they can be bottom-loaded, they could be adapted to take a clip. The answer is people in there with guns. Did you see the old guy in Florida, the internet cafe, and thugs come in with guns to rob it, and he just draws down and shoots them, and they run. Got arrested. Shot him a little 25. More guns, less crime. Chicago, New York, total gun bans, highest crime rates. We don't want to live like that. The guy behind the camera, when he used to go to college, the people try to rob him on the subway. Okay, I've been on the subway and had people come over and size me up and ask me about my stuff, seeing if they think I'll go along with it out of fear and give it to them. When they realize I'm about to bash their brains out, they back off. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the type of garbage that goes on, and I've had enough of it. You control freak big city criminals in Chicago and New York and L.A., go to hell. Get out of my country. I was going to get into Syria, but we're just out of time here for the nightly news. Let me just hit it really fast here. Syrian forces bombard Damascus. Fight rages in towns nearby. It's al-Qaeda the West is funding there. Israel may act to stop Syria arms reaching Hezbollah. They're now reporting that Hezbollah is going to attack England during the games. Oh, yeah, Iran's done everything they can to not get attacked. Now they're going to order Hezbollah. Well, the headline is Israel says Iran to attack during the games. We're that close to World War III starting with the Russians coming in on it. That's why the government's digging in, getting their checkpoints ready. That's why all the police are being told in October, get ready for all hell to break loose. I mean, they're trying to roll out the rebranding from Al-Qaeda to domestic terrorist. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they're going after our free speech. They're testing the EAS internet kill switches and radio and TV kill switches. Syria moves chemical weapons before wider offensive. A defector says, kind of like the defectors we had on Saddam, saying he had nukes. London braces for Israeli strike on Iran during 2012 games. Times of Israel. Because they just say Iran's going to attack. Remember, we had the whistleblower inside saying coming in after the game, something will change the world. Troops are standing by. We may stop it by talking about it, but this is chilling. This is chilling. London on alert for terror attack ahead of Olympic Games. All right, that's basically it. We'll cover it all tomorrow. We'll cover it all more tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central on the radio. Great job to the entire crew of InfoWars Nightly News and all the webmasters and writers at InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Great job to Rob Jacobson putting this piece together for the Nightly News. And again, to the entire crew and all of you that support us. We couldn't do it without you. So please subscribe at PrisonPlanet.tv, where you help us fund this operation that reaches millions a week just over the internet alone. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Teleprompter Free News, Infowars.com and PlanetInfowars.com, the People's Social Network.